I'm starting something on our podcast called the Fraud Watch. And the Fraud Watch is players that I've always suspected are rated higher than they really are and continuously just flattered to deceive when light shines the brightest, they flatter to deceive.
Levi
Yeah, go for
Colwill.
it. No way.
That guy,
Explain yourself.
that guy is a Asbo waiting to happen, mate. I'm telling you, he is aggressive for no reason. Gets involved in every refereeing decision. He's squaring up to man and all of this. Like, nah. Listen, he ain't a footballer, brother. He's a thug. Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, he's. What are you saying, G?
Good evening. How's it going, man?
Not bad, not bad. I'm seeing your little tagline there. Is this just to defend yourself? It's not enough.
It's not good enough. At the end of the day, Bally. Yeah, like I'm more than happy to start with that. Look, I said from the first podcast, yeah, that Michael Carrick is accountable. Manchester United for what we're doing or what we've done this summer, the way we've brought in Ineos and made certain changes, we're accountable now. The honeymoon period is over. All that, one game a week stuff, being able to prepare mentally, focusing for one game specifically, all of that is over. And I didn't watch the game, but we weren't ready. From what I saw of the extended highlights, we weren't ready to play Hull City. And it's not at the base level of any team. What you want to see is a certain amount of respect for the opposition. And what you also want to see is a team that have a base level of, even if we are poor today, we're going to make sure that we at least match them for fight and see where it takes us. And Manchester United Football Club did not do that on Saturday. So, yeah, highly disappointed.
So if we break it down and get a little bit deeper, I mean, look, we don't want to be too reactionary after just one game, even though it's so fun to be reactionary and so fun to create a lot of narratives. And I'm starting something with
You're
our
loving
podcast.
it, by the way. I can see it all over your face. You're loving it.
I'm starting something on our podcast called the Fraud Watch. And the Fraud Watch is players that I've always suspected are rated higher than they really are and continuously just flattered to deceive when light. And I'm going to keep on.
I know where you're going with this, by the way,
season.
I know where you're going with this. You're well out of order.
I'm going to keep on adding players to this list as and when I decide to, and players can be taken from the list. But I'm going to start my Fraud Watch with a few players. And number one on my list is Bruno Fernandes.
I knew, yeah. Like, look.
And listen, I've been calling out Bruno Fernandes from day one. I've never been a fan of his. I think he flatters to deceive. I think he's someone who just likes to look good when it doesn't matter. When he's got all the time in the world, you see him spraying Hollywood passes, banging a ball in the top corner, getting goals, getting assists. He just looks so good on the stats paper. But when it really, really matters, when you really, really need him, he doesn't show up. And he doesn't show up here. And listen, we don't have to get into it today. We'll say this for another time because I'm going to keep. I'm going to keep the receipts. We're going to watch Fraud Watch for the rest of the season. And that PFA title thing means nothing. It's all PR. It's all PR. But first game of the season is where you lay down a marker. And after having a poor World Cup, a very poor World Cup, I expected him to come out and really show that he's that guy. Especially when
you're talking about the PFA Player of the Year, by the way.
Yeah, and to me, he shouldn't have won that anyway. I thought it was a PR campaign. I don't think he was the best player in the Premier League. It was a PR campaign.
Okay.
But he had a poor World Cup, and then he starts the season off poor. But again, I don't want to be too reactionary because I've been consistent with Bruno Fernandes anyway. So whenever he has these sort of games, it just gives me more ammunition to really go deep. But so he's on my Fraud Watch. We'll come back to Fraud Watch a little bit later on today, but continue with your analysis and how you feel about the game. Obviously, you're not happy about it, but is it something to really even go deeper into, or is like something to be worried about, or we just
I don't think it's something to go deeper into because I don't know. We've seen this from United. Just when you think one step forward, two step backwards. Like it's felt like that since the Fergie days. So it's nothing to get too deep into. But what I will say is that like at the end of the day, you set the marker from the beginning of the season, and although you could appreciate, there's players World Cup year, players come back from the competition and stuff. We had quite a strong core group that didn't go to the World Cup. So for your example, Maguire, Shaw, who else? Santos, obviously we got him early, so he came in straight away. Sesko, who has been injured to be fair, so I can't shit on him too much. But we had a core group in Buemo. We had quite a strong group to begin the season against Hull. Well, and we didn't do that. And I'm sorry, like it just comes down to having that base level, as I was saying, and making sure that at the very least you give that base level. I'm disappointed. We move on to the next game, but at the end of the day, like, it ain't a good start. That's what I will say.
Yeah. I mean, I would have said one of the positives is I think right after the game, might have been, I can't remember how long afterwards, but we saw the announcement of the signing of Baleba, and obviously we spoke about the need for reinforcements, and it does seem like the right profile. Obviously, you guys are happy with what you've bidded. None of these crazy £100 million quotations.
Yeah.
It seems like a reasonable fee for him. I guess the only issue is the fact that the guy's injured, so it's like he's not even going to really be able to make that much of an impact. So what you saw in terms of your players, that's kind of going to be what you're going to be getting for the next couple of games at least.
Well, we know the thing is, like, it's I don't think any of us shy on the fact that these players are quality players. Like, it's just that we don't know whether they're going to show that effort from week in to week out. And I think I'm not like, if these players can just show a little bit of effort, it's not that I disbelieve in their quality, but at the end of the day, it's whether they're going to show the effort. Now, I heard Tielemans had one of the worst debuts in a Man United shirt. Yeah, and you would have thought with his experience, all right, new team, but his experience against Hull City, come on. It should have been a walk in the park. Harry Maguire's grabbing in Buemo at corners. Come on, what's going on? And that's the thing. It's just silly. It's just silly stuff. Like two free kicks and 2 crosses, and I was quite nervous about crosses because I watched all of our pre-season, and the one thing we looked susceptible was in the air. And so for me, for me, I believe in the players. I'm gonna chalk it up to all right, bad day, bad start. They're human beings at the end of the day, but it just falls in line with what I've seen from Man United over the past 14 years, 12 years. So. We just need to push forward. That's what we need to do. Go and get your win against Ipswich. Show who the mightier team is. Like, that's all we ask, is for you to show who the mightier team is, and then put them to bed. And then let's go and play Everton, which Everton away is quite a hard game, but
tough game, very tough game. And
yeah.
Moyes has got something he wants to prove, obviously, when it comes to Man United. But yeah, look, obviously, again, we don't want to be too reactionary towards. It's not a great start, but we expect the quality of the players to really improve moving forward. But I think the one thing that we'll say before we end on your Man United stuff is the transfer window is still open. So obviously, what are you guys looking at? Who you hoping you guys bring in? I mean, obviously, we linked with Newcastle left back. His name is
Lewis Hall.
Lewis Hall. I mean, Newcastle say he's not for sale. He's a key player.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you're linked with anybody else. I would have maybe Balde at Barcelona.
Yeah, I'm thinking loans now. I think the priority last season was to focus on our attack with Sesko and Buemo and Cunha. This season was to focus on the midfield, which we have. We brought 3 central midfielders. Technically, I know Agate's a nobody to us really, but in terms of numbers, we would have had his body at the in the squad if it weren't for his long-term injury. So we would have had about 5 at least international midfielders. So that was the focus for this summer. That's what we were focused on. And considering the market, I'm relatively pleased with what we've got. I don't believe Anderson's a £117 million player. Do I think he's a very good Premier League player? Yes, I do. I think, would I like him at Man United? Yes, I would, but not for £117 million. I just don't think, considering what our spending habits were previously, I think we've shown over the last 2.5 seasons at least that we're not going to be just dragged into, paying extortionate prices. We are going to try and set a base level, and we are going to negotiate. And if you look at it, you look at, who went for, like, all right, look at, what's his name? Savinho, 85 million. Last season, we got Mbeumo for 75 mil. Last season, we got Cunha for 35 mil. So for that, we're acting quite impeccably, really, when it comes to it. So, yeah, I think in terms of transfers, Balde from Barcelona has been muted, but it looks like a loan deal. We just don't have the money for Lewis Hall. That's all it comes down to. I think the way we've had to spend, and what Newcastle, I bet you Newcastle would be looking for 80 plus for him, like, at least. I just think, let's not go and blow that budget. We did that with the Belieber last season. They wanted 100 mil. We said, nah, we'd rather just go along with what we had. Came back to the table this year, got him for 70 mil. So,
yeah, I mean, you guys are definitely being responsible, very frugal in the transfer market. I mean, as much as this is the right thing to do, it just seems weird to hear that in connection with Man United. I mean, obviously, there were the times when, obviously, after Ferguson, you guys were splashing cash and buying players and were spending money in really stupid places. But to hear that you guys are going for loan deals, or that you can't really go toe-to-toe with Man City for, one of the most promising central midfielders. I mean, before, when it comes to British players, it'd be you guys that would go out and get them. Like, someone like Elliot Anderson historically would end up at Man United, because you're Man United and you guys buy, the best prospects when it comes to British. And when you look at your revenue in terms of how much you guys are valued at, how much money you generate, you actually should be able to compete with Manchester City. The problem, though, is obviously your club is so hampered in debt that you actually can't really spend and really spend properly, which just seems crazy to me.
It's been years and years of mismanagement, and since the Glazers have come in, and I think it's, I know a lot of fans get at Ineos, but from my perspective, I'm not saying they've made great decisions, but when you've come into a sinking ship and you kind of have to go further backwards to come back up a little bit sometimes. And I just think that no matter what they did, there was going to be collateral damage, i.e. the redundancies that were done last year, and all of that. So, ticket prices got hiked up. I know fans are not happy about that. But yeah, I just think, it was never going to come in and be a magic wand. It's going to be some hard, difficult times while we navigate through this. And so far, transfer window wise, I don't really see what they've done too bad. I think they've backed Ten Hag, even though he went his man that summer. Then they brought in Amrim, backed Amrim to a certain degree. All right, got rid of him, but they've again backed Carrick. I don't think their transfer windows have been poor by any stretch of the imagination. I think they've taken the team forward, and that's clear. And it's just whether we're ready for that next step. And I don't think we're ready for the league this season. Let me put it out there, but. But yeah, it's just whether we're ready to kind of push forward. But they've definitely put some foundations in place for that. I don't think they can be knocked for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can't be knocked for not spending. I think the only criticism I would give them is that they haven't been clear in their, to me, they haven't been clear in the team building and who they should be backing, because you've backed all the managers financially, but then they've all been very different in terms of their style of play. And therefore, you've basically gone and bought players that suited to that particular manager. You've backed that manager, and you've got rid of that manager after you've gone and spent quite a lot of money. And it's like, that is not really how modern football works these days. Modern football is, you have a football philosophy, and irrespective of the coach, you have a style of play and how you want to play football. And you buy the players not for the manager, but for the style of play. And in every manager that does come in, you probably give them one player that is, okay, who's your key player that is to your style of play you need, and there's no kind of like compromise on, and they will allow you to buy that player. But anyone else outside of that has to fit the style of play. You want to look at it, I go, there isn't really with that, though, is there? You just kind of bought players that suit whichever manager is, and you've kind of wasted quite a lot of money when you look at that. You look at like the players you bought for Ten Hag.
They've made mistakes.
Onana, you didn't need to buy Onana. You didn't need to buy You didn't need to buy the Brazilian guy. I forget his name, man. The guy who's been and you didn't need to buy Anthony. Like, some of these deals just didn't really make any sense.
That was pre-Ineos, but I agree with you. Like, it was like some of that was pre-Ineos, but I agree with you. Like I agree with you. We didn't need to buy certain players. Like, it's like when they backed Ten Hag, and he just won I think it was the FA Cup,
Yeah.
Just won the FA Cup. They backed Ten Hag, although they admit later on that weren't their man. And they back him all summer because they almost felt a sense of guilt of changing philosophy, considering he won the FA Cup. We had a very poor season that season. So you just think about Real Madrid. If they finish let's say Real Madrid finish 8th and they won the Copa del Rey, they're not keeping their manager. It doesn't matter. And I know obviously the FA Cup's heaped in more history, but it doesn't. In terms of cup competition, that's what it is. So yeah, man. But what about Chelsea though? I'm hearing you guys put on a very frosty performance last night.
I mean, frosty in the positive sense because missed the two ice cold guys. It was 2 goals for Arbeloa. We saw the Cole Palmer of old, and I was really excited to see it. He was really this guy. I look. A lot of people were upset that Cole Palmer didn't go to the World Cup. I was not unhappy because that said to me that this guy is going to get a rest. He's going to get a nice rest, and he's going to have a chip on his shoulder because he believes in his ability, and so he should. So he gets a rest. He gets to come back really fresh, with a point to prove, and we're seeing that the Cole Palmer that I believe is in there. To me, one of the best players in the Premier League. Arguably, I think now that Mo Salah's gone and he's no longer in his prime, I think he's someone that can really compete, and also Kevin De Bruyne has gone as well. To me, can compete to be literally the face of the Premier League. Like he's got everything. He's got goals. He's got assists.
There is a space for that. Yeah,
there's a space for it. To me, I think he could be the face of the Premier League. Like in terms of players that really excite you, like that's Cole Palmer. Like he's not got bags of pace, but he can beat a man. And like he was doing stuff like he was just like giving guys a shoulder, dribbling past a couple of players. He's always got a goal or assist in him, and he creates a lot of chances. He just makes things happen. And to me, I'm excited to see this Cole Palmer, and he's starting to get some good link-up play with João Pedro, who I think is looking really, really good. And he's obviously another player who's got a point to prove. Didn't go to the World Cup.
Yeah,
feels like he should have gone to the World Cup.
Yeah.
So that's 2 players to me in our front 3, and we've got no European football. So these guys are going to be fresh. They've got points to prove. So I'm excited. And look, it was a good game. I think attacking-wise, we were quite convincing. A couple of bozo moments at the back. Robert Sanchez.
I heard Sanchez had a few issues.
It's Sanchez being Sanchez, to be honest. And he's getting a lot of credit.
For you, why is it that you guys are not in the market for a keeper? Like for you as a Chelsea fan,
most Chelsea fans, we could get rid of Sanchez. We'd get rid of Sanchez. The problem though is that the reason why they won't get rid of Sanchez is because they believe in this up and coming goalkeeper we have called Mike Penders, who was at Strasbourg last season. He's like 6'7". They believe really highly in him. And the reason why they don't want to go and get a top number 1 goalkeeper because they don't want to block his pathway. So he's actually come back. He's come to Chelsea this season. He's on the bench. He's our number 2. But I think when the opportunity comes his way, he will get into that starting lineup, and hopefully he will keep it. So that's why we've not gone and got a goalkeeper.
Right.
We were in the market for Maignan, the AC Milan goalkeeper, but they didn't want to pay the money. Most Chelsea fans were like, go and pay the money. It was like 35 million or something like that. Go and pay the money. But they really believe in Mike Penders. So this is why we've been sticking with Sanchez for so long. Right. So hopefully we get to really see what's going on there. But yeah, Sanchez had a couple of bozo moments. Something you always expect from him. Once in a while, he pulls out some really amazing saves, but a lot of the time he's got a problem with him.
Reminds me of Onana, I can't lie.
I mean, I wouldn't put him on Onana's level, personally speaking. I think Sanchez is better than Onana.
I'm shooting from the hip, man.
Yeah, but no, look, we look good, man. We look good. Xabi Alonso's first game. I think for someone his first game in the Premier League, I think he did pretty well. Funny enough, though, that game actually was almost like was like El Sacchio. You had Real Madrid and Arbeloa, Xabi Alonso and Arbeloa. Real Madrid. Now I think that Fulham are going to be the Premier League. I think they might be the Premier League whipping boys, along with Frank Lampard's Coventry. So that's another prediction for the season. Those two will be whipping boys. Fulham might be in danger. But yeah, no, we look good, man. I'm happy with the direction that we're going. I think we're slowly starting to get rid of a couple of players. Obviously, you saw that Leon Delap is going to Nottingham Forest. We clearly sell very good.
How the hell did you guys get 45 million for Leon? No, you know what? I don't know who's signing them checks, Bally. I don't know who's going in there and saying, you know what, this is a player that you need for 45 million. Who is cutting these deals at Chelsea because they're taking liberties? They could solve
the business.
They could literally solve the economy and all the crisis that's going on over here at the moment. They are financial geniuses.
Well, so this is the thing. They're gonna pat themselves on the back for that deal, yeah. And yes, well done, you managed to sell Liam Delap, but you shouldn't have bought Liam Delap in the first place. So to me, all you've done is waste everyone's time. Like, why are you buying? Like every Chelsea
But
fan,
for but,
no, most
okay,
Chelsea fans were underwhelmed with that signing because we all knew he wasn't Chelsea level. He wasn't Chelsea level. You don't go and buy Ipswich's starting centre forward, yeah, because he scored 10 goals in the Premier League and think he can walk into Chelsea and become the next Didier Drogba. He didn't show enough to show that he
mm,
deserved to be at Chelsea. So all you
mm,
did was waste everybody's time because you then
yeah,
sent Nicholas Jackson on loan to Bayern Munich when what you should have done was actually not buy Liam Delap, go and buy a proper striker, or you buy a decent backup and you make Nicholas Jackson your starting
but
centre.
they
So you
did
just waste the time.
buy João Pedro that summer as well, though.
Yes,
They did
yes,
buy.
they would bought João Pedro, but João Pedro was actually not necessarily bought to be like that starting number 9 because Enzo actually never ever saw him as a starting number 9. He saw him as like a 9.5. He was actually meant to be someone that would play in behind Liam Delap or in behind
Mm,
Nicholas Jackson. He was like a replacement for Cole Palmer, someone that could sometimes play now. He wasn't meant to be like a focal number 9, but
mm,
obviously he's shown that he can do it. So he's our main guy. It's worked out quite nicely. And we've got Danny Welbeck as a backup. So, it's a
yeah,
good bit of
yeah.
business. But again,
What's
shouldn't
your
have done it in the first
what's your
place.
what's your ideas about Enzo? I'm hearing that. I'm not sure if he played yesterday. Did he play?
He did play. He got booed actually when he came on. He came on
Now,
came on in the
was
second
that
half.
booed by everyone?
Yeah, he got booed by everyone.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So look,
Do
to me,
you think it's do you like City? I've heard a lot of rumors about City, him accepting a contract. It's about hashing out the deal.
yeah,
What are
yeah.
you like? Well, where are you with it in terms of you as a fan?
So I think Fabrizio's reported that he said yes to City. Look, but I think he's a mercenary to be honest. Like I think he's a mercenary. Like the signs were there when he was at Benfica. The guy went on strike so he can get out of Benfica because he wants to go to Chelsea, making it seem like his dream was to play at Chelsea. And he gets Chelsea, he gets a really nice contract, and then when things start not going too well, he's throwing his toys at the pram, working for Real Madrid. Real Madrid tell him we don't want you. And now he's like, oh yeah, let me go to City. Like he's just going to wherever he wants to go. The guy's got like 6 years left on his contract and he's talking about he wants more money at Chelsea. It's like, bro, you've got a 6 year
Mm,
contract. You took money. Why are you talking about more money when you haven't done anything to show why you deserve to get more money? Are you a good player?
yeah.
Yes. Do I think he's world class? I actually do think he's world class. I think Chelsea are better
I
team.
think he's become it. I think he's become it. He's definitely. I saw his influence on your team last year, I know you didn't really have the best of season, but he was a player that I looked at. And I thought, oh, on his game, he's a very good player.
He's a very
Yeah.
good player. He's a moments player as well. He can come up with big moments. And he's
Mm,
he's probably one of the most complete midfielders in world football. He can play 6, he can play the 8, he can pass range of passing, he can score goals, like, and he's got that grit, that real grit in terms of like really can fight. So to me,
yeah,
he's great.
yeah,
We are better with Enzo Fernandez. The problem though is that Enzo Fernandez is a mercenary, and he's always
yeah.
looking for new paycheck, always looking for the next best thing. If you told me the club you want to go to is Real Madrid and that's what your heart is set on, you shouldn't be talking about Manchester City. You shouldn't be entertaining Manchester City. So
Mm,
the talk now is that apparently he's like, oh, Chelsea can't match his ambitions, which is part of the reason why he wants to leave. And to be honest, I can't even disagree with that because the truth is that as long as we are under these owners, we're never going to be the Chelsea of old where it was like
yeah,
we try and win everything. These guys are trying to balance checks. So whereas
yeah,
Man
yeah,
City are about winning. So yes, I can't even deny that. If you are about winning and you want to progress your career, you can't stay at Chelsea. So I get
yeah,
it. But when you were talking about you wanted to go to Real Madrid and you were trying to work for Real Madrid, then to me that should really be where you should be focused on. You should stay at
yeah.
Chelsea and prove that you are actually a great player, and then get them moved to Real
Mm.
Madrid because they
Well,
always
it's
buy
like
the best
yeah.
players.
Well, it's like what Belieber did. Really, kind of waited, the whole season for Man United. He could have went anywhere, and I think,
Yeah,
Enzo is a mercenary. Like, he seems like a very self-centered player. Obviously, I don't know him as a person, but at the same time, like in terms of his moves and the way he behaves in terms of, as a footballer, yeah, he seems like you lot might do well in getting rid of him. And the thing is, you paid what, 120 for him? So there's no way you're not parting with at least 140, 150.
which is the numbers that have been
Yeah,
quoted about 140 million. The problem though that
yeah,
we have
yeah.
though is that like selling him this late into the window doesn't make sense because obviously that's why
Limits your options.
we gave the deadline because look, we sell him for 120 million. We already made a bid for Alex Scott at Bournemouth, which got rejected. We sell Enzo for 120 million, Alex Scott probably then becomes 80 million, 90 million. We then have to go and overspend for a player who's nowhere near the level of
He's
Enzo.
nowhere near 90
Nowhere near.
million as well. I'm sorry. Where the hell are these prices coming from? Like,
I mean,
nah.
so to me, what is the point in selling Enzo if you can't get a replacement that is nearly close enough for the sake of what 20 million profit here, 30 million profit here? It's all just kind of like pointless. So, and we've already been told that Wharton is not for sale because Man City been sniffing around Wharton as well. Man City was sniffing around Wharton. It's not for sale. So to me, Enzo being sold doesn't help anyone other than Manchester City. It doesn't help us because we don't have a replacement for him.
I feel like I've been looking at like Liverpool and thinking, why Liverpool going for Wharton? I think Wharton is more suited to like a Liverpool style of play, the way they play and that sitting midfielder. But yeah, like I think, we all know, very inflated transfer window, and just teams are having to move smart. And I think I'm personally happy with what my team have done in regards to price and the way they've manoeuvred. We've had to deal with some real difficult situations. Obviously, when Fernandes left, he went Tottenham. He was our number one, really. Like I really feel like he was the one we really wanted. But once that switched, we had to kind of move quickly and make sure we get free. And we've got 3 Premier League players in as well. It's not even just the fact we've got 3 players and they're Premier League experienced. And I think that's very important these days anyway.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I think you guys have done some good economical business. I think time will tell though to see who's really end up buying the midfielders.
Like any transfer, man. It's even Martinelli looks like he's about to leave. Arsenal fans are fuming at 45 million. They're not happy with that. They're like, well, if everyone else going for 60 and 65, Mason Mount was 65 million.
Nobody's buying Martinelli, man. Nobody's buying. Like nobody in Europe cares about Martinelli because we all know Martinelli is very good.
I tell you who Martinelli. I was saying to my mate the other day. I tell you who Martinelli would be dirty for Atletico Madrid. Because he's full of running, he's full of press. Yeah. He's got that kind of guile and guts about him. He likes to get stuck in a little bit. He's a bit feisty as well off the ball. I thought if he stayed in Europe, it'd be,
And he suits counter-attacking football. Like they like to play a really low block and then counter-attack with like 2 or 3 strikers, and he's really good at if you're playing counter-attacking football. But I just don't think he's that good, to be honest. Like, I mean, 50 million is I think is good money for him. I mean, they paid like 3 million for him, so that's like mad profit.
I mean, in terms of that, but Arsenal fans are just talking about the market. Like a couple of them.
Yeah, but who are they comparing him to? The Savinho? I mean, fair. I mean, if you're comparing,
but as you saw, so it's only Spurs that would have spent 85 million on something.
Yeah, no one else. Nobody else would have spent that money.
No one else was nowhere near that. So it's like obviously, but I thought they done well getting Mamouche though. I like Mamouche.
I think that's a good buy. I think that's a good buy. I think he's definitely. I think he's a good player, and I think he's obviously got a point to prove. And I think De Zerbi will do well with him. I mean, obviously Spurs got absolutely thumped, but I think it's still early days on them, and I wouldn't really react too much to that because I think they've got a good squad. And we'll have to see what happens there. Although, I mean, I do think they overspent on their midfield. I want to go back to the days of good scouting. Like, why can't people do some good scouting? Why are you going out and spending 90 million on Fernandes, spending 100 million on Tonali? I mean, like, go and do some scouting because Newcastle didn't pay 100 million for Tonali. So go and do some good scouting. Like, it's lazy work in my opinion. Like, just going and buying players that you think or you are doing well in the Premier League and they've got good stats. Yeah, go and do some good scouting and find the next Tonali. Go and find the next Bruno Guimaraes. Like, go and find them. They don't need to be at Brighton.
Well, that's what heritage clubs are all about, really. Like, having that system. I know Arsenal fans don't want to hear it, but Aidan Heaven, 1 million. Now, don't get me wrong, he's the finished article. He's a 19-year-old centre back. However, he's come in and I've seen some really mature performances from him, and I'm happy enough to have him in and around the squad to see him develop. I watched a really good interview with his mum the other day. She spoke really well, and she's his manager as well. So. Yeah, there is some good scouting going on, and that's what I kind of like the fact we've got back to that as well. Like United, we're not just going out and saying 80 million for everybody and all this, but we're just saying, all right, sometimes we can pick up a little player. Let's see what he can do in and around the squad, And if he doesn't, then let's see if we can put him on. So
I completely agree on that one. What do we think about Anthony Gordon's he's got off to a couple of a good start at Barcelona, 2 assists.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't catch that one. I haven't seen any of the highlights or anything, but yeah, I heard he started well. Heard he started well. I still prefer Adeyemi. I think Adeyemi is a bad boy player.
He scored as well.
Oh, did he? Yeah, I think Adeyemi is a bad boy player. I've always rated him. Funny enough. So, but yeah, I mean, good for Gordon. I think Gordon, you know what, in terms of English players that go abroad, I think physically they'll probably blitz the league anyway. Like, look at Scott McTominay, British player, went Italy. The pace of that league is brilliant for him. He can look like an absolute truck running through a lot of their midfield and stuff. But, you know, like, and I'm not saying Gordon didn't get great stats last year. I think he got about 19 goal involvements. So you got a rating for that. But I don't know. He's a good player, and he did step up at Newcastle, scored Champions League goals. You can't knock that. But yeah, I was quite surprised. Barcelona, like,
Me too,
this is
me too.
Barcelona.
I mean,
fair enough.
I'm surprised as well. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think when I look at it in terms of why they've gone and bought him, I have to say I understand why, in terms of the way that they play, and they have a lot of space. And someone like Gordon is very direct. He runs into that open space and he's very decisive. He's either going to shoot or he's going to pass. But that pass is always available for Barcelona, and he makes that pass or he's going to score. And I think with Rashford, as much as Rashford actually did really well, he missed a lot of chances. He missed a lot of chances running into that final third. And Gordon's probably a little bit more decisive in terms of he's going to pass or he's going to shoot. I mean, I think old Rashford, very decisive, very clinical. But as he's gotten older, he seems to not be as clinical as he used to be. I worry for him. I think we spoke about it last time in terms of the media being on his case. He's been given a number 9 shirt. I saw the ESPN actually put him as the face of the feat that you guys had. You know, the report is like Rashford's face. I'm like, the guy came on in the second half, man. Like, why are you putting Rashford's face there? Like he was like a big part of it. So like the agenda's already started on him, and the fact that he's been given a number 9, I don't think actually helps him. I think it actually creates more pressure.
I think Rashford as well. He is, in terms of going back to that whole, you know, why Barcelona picked Gordon instead of taking on Rashford. Rashford is actually a great provider as a winger. Like he's good at running one-on-one at the fullback with space in behind. But actually, if he gets to a byline or he gets an opportunity to square it or pass it in, I wouldn't say he's the greatest. He often misses the target and often misses the player in the box and makes the wrong decision. So maybe Gordon's assists were quite high last season. I think 7 or 8 assists in the league is respectable. And yeah, I just think maybe they looked at it from a technical point of view and just said, like, Rashford's a little bit of just a speed merchant with, you know, he can jink past you. He's not exactly technically gifted in dribbling. He can shoot. His technical ability to shoot is really good. But yeah, I don't think he has many facets to his game. Reminds me a lot of Martinelli, to be fair. Just for an inside left winger, the facets to his game aren't exactly, diverse. He's got one. He's kind of like Gakpo. He's just got that kind of that one trick kind of thing. So Saka as well, by the way.
You don't rate Saka, no?
No. It's not about it's not about rating. It's not about not rating a player. It's just about acknowledging what his facets are. And Saka's facets are quite predictable. That's what I'm going to say. Is it effective? Hell yeah, because he's in a great team and all of that. But like, yeah. He's not exactly the most dynamic, like, winger you'll see, the most exciting winger to make you think, oh my God, he's going to burst past him and all that.
He's functional. Yeah. He's functional. What some people say is he's a perfect academy product. Like, he just does what you need him to do. He's very, very kind of systematic. And you're right, it's not very exciting, but it gets results. But so yeah, a good segue to the fraud watch. So obviously number 1 on the fraud watch for me is Bruno Fernandes. I think maybe by the end of this season I might get a starting 11 going. But other players that I've added to fraud watch, is no surprise that quite a lot of these players play at Man United. Mason Mount is on fraud watch. I mean, I'm sure you don't disagree with Mason Mount being on fraud watch. 16 million British.
You know what? I can't look. I'm gonna be very diplomatic. Like, you can't knock a man that's had injuries, man. Like, at the end of the day, I just think he's one of them players that the injuries have taken its toll. That's all it is. Like, he's not the same player. He will not be the same player he was at Chelsea when he won. I think he win Player of the Year 2 years in a row.
Back Player of the Year. You know, by the way, he was never injured at Chelsea. He never really got injured. He never really got injured. He played every game. Played every game. So I don't know whether it's more of a mental thing that's actually tied to the body and not allowed him to be fit
you know what, he needs to go somewhere like Brentford. He needs to go somewhere like Brighton. I think Brighton would be good for him. To be expected to perform at Man United, especially where we need to go now. Like, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll come back to him. Robert Sanchez on Fraud Watch as well.
Thank you. Thanks for that.
That's just a nice one just for you because you don't feel like I'm just going to be putting Man United players in there.
You know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to be real with you. Can I add a player?
Levi go for it. No way.
That guy.
Explain yourself.
That guy is a ASBO waiting to happen, mate. I'm telling you, he is aggressive for no reason. Gets involved in every refereeing decision. He's squaring up to man and all of this. Like, nah. Listen, he ain't a footballer, bro. He's a thug. Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, his head does go get a little bit lost sometimes. He does have a head lost a little bit sometimes. But I think he's just young. He's just young. He's young. He's a bit irrational, but he's actually very composed.
I'm not having that. He's had 3 seasons of Premier League. He's not young. He's young, but he's not young to play.
But age-wise, he's young. And remember, centre backs don't start maturing until they're like late 20s. So he's still got a long way to go in terms of like understanding the game and knowing what to do. But in terms of a centre back, he's got all the attributes. He's great at line breaking passes. He's really good at reading the game. He's really aggressive in terms of getting stuck in. Like, I actually think like we're going to do really well with him being back. So, I mean, you can add him there. I don't believe he should be there, and I think we'll get to the end of the season and we'll realize that that's an incorrect addition to the Forward Watch. But you're entitled to add him in there. My other members, as you already know, Phil Foden. I thought we need to go too deep into that. We know how I feel about Phil Foden. He's 100% Forward Watch. Maresca's really trying to make him he's the main guy, but personally, Shirky should be starting ahead of him, in my opinion. I just think he's getting found out now. I used to really think him a really good player, but I think
Foden's probably starting. I think Foden's probably starting a lot more because he didn't go to the World Cup and he's had the pre-season. So it's like Maresca would have seen more of him on the training pitch. Don't get me wrong, Cherky will eventually be that number 10. But again, it's starting the season is more about who's fit and just basically who have I got to play and get through a couple of games whilst my other big boys come back and do their thing. Yeah.
Well, me. If Foden does not end up being a starter for Manchester City under Maresca, we're talking 3 seasons in a row, then that's a problem. He's already signed a new contract anyway, so he's pretty much stuck at Man City. But to me, if you can't start for Man City, and Pep is someone that was like, we know Pep is like, can tweak and change sometimes, and you can fall out of favour very easily. But if you can't start now for Man City as the main player and get them back to where they got to, then I'm sorry, you ain't the Phil Foden we thought you were. So, yeah, you are definitely on Forward Watch.
I agree.
Next player on Forward Watch is actually not playing as a manager, Frank Lampard.
Why are you having shots at all your ex-legends and that? Like, this guy's a legend for you.
Chelsea fans are going to be upset with me. And look, I can separate the two. Frank Lampard, the player, Frank Lampard, the manager. As a player, I love Frank Lampard. One of my favourite Chelsea players. Like, always could rely on Frank Lampard, come up with big clutch moments. Top player, all-time leading midfield Premier League goal scorer, 100 Premier League goals, not an easy thing to achieve as a midfielder. So Frank Lampard gets all the credit as a player. But as a manager, I don't really rate him.
You ruined him as a manager. Chelsea Football Club.
No, he ruined himself, my friend. He ruined himself. Okay, look.
Totally disagree.
Look, I've used this analogy before.
Under very difficult circumstances.
It's not difficult circumstances. It's Chelsea.
Look. When, as an ex-Chelsea legend, if his club come in for him as a manager at any point of his career, he's going to say yes. Because why? Because there's such affection for that club, and there's such a connection with that club that he has, and he has an affinity to that club. So I don't blame him for saying yes to that offer. Okay. That was an offer from your club. Right.
Okay.
And he came into that club under very challenging circumstances. I understand you had a transfer embargo at the time.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So to come in as a non-elite manager, as a manager who's just plying his trade, had an opportunity, was probably given certain assurances that he'd be given time to grow into the role, right? Yeah. He came in and he done well initially. I remember he had a really couple good results here and there, lacked a bit of consistency. But then when it fell off, it really did fall off. And don't get me wrong, it was bad. But I cannot blame Frank Lampard for that. I can only say, well, with what the squad he had to work with, the dysfunction at the club, the transfer embargo, as Chelsea always do, you take potential talented managers and you rip them up. And I'm praying Xabi Alonso ain't one of them.
Okay. Name me the managers that promising young managers that we've ruined their career.
Graham Potter. I think Graham Potter was
he really that good though? Was he really that good?
He was promising at Brighton. Come on.
Okay, what happened at West Ham? What happened at West Ham?
Yeah. Look. All right, but by then he had gone through that Chelsea.
Oh, so we just completely destroyed him. He couldn't remember he was a good player, good manager.
This is what you do. It's in your DNA.
Too much.
It's in your DNA.
If you're good, you're good. Right? If you're good, you're good. If you're good, you're good. To me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it doesn't work out at Chelsea.
Maresca was good, and I know Maresca walked. Don't get me wrong. I know Maresca walked because City came in, but Maresca was good. And he
had a great time at Chelsea. He had a great time at Chelsea. He won 2 trophies. Like there's no issues there. He won 2 trophies. He was a good manager at Chelsea, but his head got turned by Man City because that's really where he wanted to be, and he saw the opportunity. His head got turned, and so he sabotaged it. So there's no negatives there. We didn't ruin this guy. This guy self-sabotaged. So let's go back. Let's go back to Frank Lampard. Okay. Now, to me, the first time Frank Lampard was at Chelsea, I agree. When the club at Chelsea that you love comes in for you and says, "Come and be our manager," it's hard to say no. Me personally speaking, if you're not ready, you should say no. If Coca-Cola asked me to be their CEO, I'm going to say no. Because I'm not ready. And if I say yes, it's because I'm coming for the money and I hope they sack me. I made enough money at the time they sack me.
No, he went for the opportunity. He blatantly did. Come on. You telling me Frank Lampard went to Chelsea Football Club for money?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you're supposed to say no because you know you're not ready. And when you take a job that you're not ready for, you have to accept the consequences when it fails, and that is all your fault. Because you're not ready for that level. You're not ready for that level. But what I disliked about what Frank Lampard did when he was at Chelsea was he tried to lower the standards. He tried to lower our standards. He came in and he was making all the excuses saying, these guys aren't ready. So like the first season, did a great job. Fantastic job. Got us to top 4, even though personally speaking, I think that was actually a flawed season because a lot of people dropped the ball in that season. A lot of other clubs had poor seasons and we scraped to 4th place. And it's not like he had a mediocre team as well. He didn't have a mediocre team. He had a good team. So let's not pretend that the team was rubbish. And this was like some 10th place team. This was a Chelsea team that should have finished 4th. They should have finished top 4. He didn't have a rubbish team. So we're not gonna go on like he did something magical. He did what he was supposed to do. That's why he didn't get sacked the first season. Second season, they said, okay, transfer embargo is finished. We are Chelsea. We buy players because we want to win the big trophies. Who do you want? We're going to go and buy them. They went and bought loads of players. They made his squad even better. He couldn't handle that step up, and it all bombed. What he then tried to do was lower our standards, saying that the team wasn't ready to compete. He said they're not ready because I know what it takes. I've been in clubs that know how to compete. I've played for winning teams. I know what it takes to compete. They're not ready. They're not ready. You know what happened? He got sacked, and we won the Champions League. So they showed him. A proper manager came in, Thomas Tuchel, an elite manager who knows what to do with proper players, came in, won a Champions League, and had us competing at the top of the league and won. Literally got to every single final, every cup final that he entered. Every cup he entered, he got into the final of it. So with the same squad. So to me, we didn't ruin Frank Lampard. He's him again, self-sabotage.
Fair enough. Let's agree to disagree.
I agree to disagree. So he's on forward watch for me because I don't think he's as good as he thinks he is. I think his level is championship. That's his level, championship. So
and I think didn't he manage another Premier League club at one point?
Yeah, Everton, and they almost got relegated.
Yeah, so this is his third bite at the cherry, really. So let's see what he does. I know, obviously, Arsenal dealt with Coventry, and we knew that was going to happen, and they did look really accomplished, let's say. But yeah, like let's see what he can do for the rest of the season. You know, their season ain't about Arsenal away, is it? Like, so let's see. Let's see
Yeah, I mean,
about
they were never expected to win that game, but ultimately, I think we'll see if the Premier League is too much for him. I don't think he's at the level, but maybe he's learned
fair
something.
enough.
One thing I'll give him as a player is that during his time, he always was able to rise to the level. But to me, coaching is very different to playing. When you're playing, you only got to think about yourself. When you're a coach, you've got to think about the whole squad. It requires you to be selfless, and I don't know if he's got that in him, but let's wait and see. So yeah, so he's one of the people that I've got on my fraud watch. And in the final addition to fraud watch, apologies, is another Man United player, is Harry Maguire.
I don't know, like I've had an up and down relationship with Harry Maguire, watching him at my club over the years. I guess I don't know. He's either I say Harry Maguire's a wintertime player. He shouldn't be playing in warm climates where the there's gonna be some silk football being played. He needs long ball. It's raining. Hull midweek, Stoke away midweek, and he just needs to be in the box ahead of that ball and get clattered in his face. For me, like he serves his purpose at a certain point of the season when it's all about guts and glory. Like in the winter, it's about getting through that period, and he's one of those players that can help us do that. Whereas if we're expecting him to be this brilliant centre back opening day of the season and all that, like I don't know, man. So I kind of give you that one. You can have that one.
Yeah. I mean, only thing I'll add to that is in 2026, Harry Maguire should not be starting for Manchester United. The age of 33.
Well, he goes into his final year of the season. Final year of his contract. And
didn't he extend his contract? You guys renewed his contract.
I think from what I read, I understand his contract expires 2027.
Oh, okay. So he's got the contract. So that was the new contract he signed.
Yeah. I think we had, because United, when we do contracts, we always put a 1 year extension in it. So I reckon we just basically activated that. But I do think it's time to start planning. I think obviously the remit was central midfield this year. I think it's time to start planning long term for the likes of Maguire, Shaw. I'd even start saying looking at like the new and up and coming right back as well, because I don't think Delo is going to get any better. Mazraoui's just a squad player, and I know we tried Lenny Euro there, but I don't think we see him there long term. So, that's why.
Fair enough. Cool. So what's the next match? I think you guys are playing Ipswich, right?
We've got Ipswich at home, which will in the league. Ipswich at home, which will probably scrape a 1-0 heroic Bruno Fernandes pen.
Oh yeah, of course. Bruno Fernandes with the slow run up.
but yeah, like I think next game Ipswich. I'm not sure who you boys have got. Who you got?
We've got Luton on Thursday in the Carling Cup.
Oh, because you finished 10th, so it means you get that second, like you go into that first round of Premiership teams, and then the other 10 are added to the next one. No, I'm not even winding you up. I'm just saying it.
It gives us opportunity to play some of the fringe players. Maybe see what Mike Pence has got to say. Maybe Enzo Fernandez starts
your 50 million fringe players.
Yeah,
honestly, Chelsea Football Club are like a cattle market. Honestly, they're like a cattle market. It's ridiculous. I'm telling you, because all you're doing is buying players like for low money and just selling them a year or two for an extra 10, 15, 20 million or whatever it is. And it's just like I feel sorry for Chelsea fans, because I think, how do you fall in love with the players and all that? Like,
it's a really good point. Right? It's a really good point, because I was thinking about this the other day, and it's like seeing certain players, and it's like we're signing all these players here, and I'm like, I just can't feel anything for these players, man. Like Barcola, Huenda, I just don't care about these players. Like and you can't run the club as a portfolio, because the whole point of football is that you fall in love with players, and that's what makes people passionate. You fall in love with the club, you fall in love with players. And if you keep selling players that we fall in love with, or we just start to build a relationship with, and bring in new players, like you're ripping the soul out of the club. And so, yeah, I agree with you. It's like I can't fall in love with this.
Exactly.
Like that's why they can never sell Cole Palmer. And even though I know they want to, I know they badly want to in this transfer market with like players being these inflated prices, they would love to sell João Pedro and Cole Palmer, but they know they can't because it's over for them if they try and sell those players.
I
So
think
they'll
I think
sell
I think
your.
there's only about two players that I would say I would be absolutely shocked if you sold, and that is Cole Palmer and Caicedo. I'd be
Mm,
absolutely shocked if you sold those two. Like anyone else, I feel like is susceptible for it. Like even João Pedro, I do think. I don't
yeah.
know. Let's say Barca came in and wanted to pay double what you paid for him. I think you'd sell it. But
But I mean,
yeah,
they already said he was untouchable. They because Barcelona was sniffing around him, and I think they were looking around about 80 million or something like that, and we said no, and then he signed a new contract. So I actually do think they put him on a list of players that are untouchable, and also Barcelona can't afford him. I mean, the money that Chelsea want to sell him, Barcelona will be coming with all these like 20-year installment plans, man. So like you're wasting your time trying to do any business with Barcelona.
Kalana.
I mean, apparently they still owe Leeds money for Rafinha. Like
That's
it's
wild.
it's crazy. So to me, it's like nobody wants to do business with Barcelona, man. So yeah, you're right. I do think there's a couple of players that they won't sell, and but which makes it sad though, because that says to you that there's so many other players that they will sell. And I look at our academy and I think you just keep on selling our academy players, and you go and buy all these other players from other academies that aren't at the same level as our academy players that we would fall in love with our academy. Like when you see a player come through your academy,
Oh,
like
it's the best
you
thing.
know, it's the best thing. So to me, let these academy players come through. And even though we are seeing them coming through, I mean, like Joshua Chingbong, good academy player, Levi Colwell, academy player, Reece James, academy player. So we're happy to see it. But
Mm,
when you look at how good our squad could have been if we'd have properly actually just focused on the academy and stop wasting money on all these half-beaten bum
yeah,
players around the world.
yeah.
Lewis Hall, Chelsea academy player. Mark Gahey, Chelsea academy player. Like you add that
Mm.
to what we have already, and it's like that's a solid team.
I do feel sorry for Chelsea, and you know what? Like for me, the Mourinho era, the Abramovich era was a very poignant era in Chelsea's history. Obviously, I know a lot of us believe that's when your club actually started, but
Yeah,
but
wow.
but all jokes aside, I think from a competitive standpoint, I thought it was one of the most exciting times in the Prem, and
Mm.
I think that I do miss the old Chelsea, like when they would be buying Ballack and all these man. You were just sitting there, just like, oh, allow it. Like when you lot took Hazard from us, I was absolutely fuming. And then when he started doing bits as well, I just couldn't even watch. I couldn't even watch it. I was just like,
Yeah,
I
what a
can't
player,
even
man.
watch Chelsea.
What a
So
player.
it's like, I mean, from a competitive standpoint, like Arsenal and Man United, I think us fans have kind of said to each other, especially of lately, especially like the games we had with them at the Emirates, and I know we won, but we felt like that was like Wenger, Alex Ferguson, Arsenal Man United game. It was feisty, it had
Yeah,
quality,
yeah,
it was dramatic, and I miss that with Chelsea. Like I miss
yeah, yeah,
seeing
yeah,
like when United and Chelsea used to play, you know, used to batter us at Stamford Bridge. But at Old Trafford, it could go either way, it seemed. And
yeah, yeah,
obviously, we've
yeah.
had you in finals as well. You've won, we've won. So I miss Chelsea for that, I must say. I miss
Yeah,
it.
man. I
I do.
mean, you look now, man. The rivals aren't really like that, are they? And even like some of the managerial
Mm,
rivalries, not really like that. I mean, who? Like, obviously, Man City aren't really not really rivals. I mean, there was little
nah.
bits here and there, but you guys aren't really rivals. Right? Man United, Arsenal, yeah, but it's not the same now, is it? I mean, and even with
Mm.
Chelsea now, we don't really have that sort of. I mean, I love the whole Mourinho Wenger. The Mourinho Wenger stuff was brilliant. Just
Box
just
office.
great TV, man. I mean, I miss Mourinho. To me, I don't know if you watch the Mourinho documentary, but there will never be anyone like Mourinho ever again.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
I agree.
for all these flaws, the guy is he is the special one. Like there's just nobody
He's
like him, and what he brought to the Premier League was just
oh,
different
gee,
gravy, man.
someone taking on Alex Ferguson and Wenger. Like, come on, and then obviously Rafa Benitez came, I think, around about
Yeah,
the same
exactly.
time
Bring
as
them
well.
all, man. Bring them all.
Like, and for me, that's the level of competition that I used to enjoy. That these honcho players, managers, and them and their big institutions, and then fighting for them every week in, week out, and it was box office. But the one thing I do like about Mourinho, and this is why I did accept him when he came to United, was he always showed Ferguson respect. Always, I see him rip apart managers, even some of the best managers. But Fergie, he never spoke out of turn ever. He was gracious. I remember they beat us with Real Madrid, and Modric, Ronaldo scored at Old Trafford. Modric scored a worldie past our keeper, and he turned around after the game and said United should have got through. Like it was just because of class that we won that. So I've always respected Mourinho, man. Class. I need to watch his documentary. Actually, I need to get onto that.
No, it's good. It's good. I did, and also the Pep ones on Amazon. It's not as good as the Mourinho one, but definitely good to watch.
I've seen enough Pep. I've seen enough Pep. I don't know. I feel like with City and stuff, I've seen enough of what he's about. Like I'm not really intrigued to see.
I don't care. I don't really see
stuff. I don't really care. But Jose is whether you're a Chelsea fan or let's say he's never managed your team, you like watching Jose. Like he's just he's an enigma, isn't it? So man.
Cool.
Well, bro, that sounds like it for tonight.
Yeah.
Lovely.